Hey everybody, how's it? Aloha. Steve Wilson, home invasion, regret number 9. First I want to thank all of you, like usual, for the comments. YouTube is having a little hard time with dropping the links in the comments, and then it doesn't show up in my comments sometimes, and it ends up being held or something. So I'm trying to get through it. I'm beginning to figure out how to work the back end of YouTube's analytics and stuff a little better. So thank you though, nonetheless. I had this dropped in my comments quite a bit, and I thought since I just dropped that Deep Purple Stormbringer in there and I was kind of feeling that energy of that nostalgic prog rock metal, heavy metal kind of progressive work, I thought this was a good time to do this. So this is going to be a long track. Once again, Steve Wilson's Home Invasion, regret number 9. And then I realized when I popped up the video to the right size, it gives you those suggestions. I went, oh my God, this is where Guthrie Govan does that solo, which I have heard, the little snippet of the solo that's been running around YouTube. And also, 2/3 of Aristocrats. I guess Marco, the drummer for the Aristocrats, is also drumming on this track. So I'm excited. If this is the one with Govan solo, it is probably one of the most powerful, truthful solos I've heard in many years. Asthma spray. Anyhow, so stupid. Here we go. We're going on a long journey here. It's 11 and a half minutes, so away we go. Steve Wilson's Home Invasion. Thank you very much. You like the headsets? Links are below. Any advertisement shows up on here, I don't do any monetizing, so it's a copyright claim by Steve Wilson and team. If ads run, I'm so sorry, but it ain't me. All right, here we go. Looking forward to this. All right. Okay, jeez. Totally wasn't expecting this. I don't know why I had Steve Wilson in my head with a different kind of... I think it's because he's had his fingerprints on a lot of other productions. I definitely wasn't expecting this. If this is the first time that you're watching a video with me, I don't do reactions like, ooh, nice guitar solo. I try to do these subtle nuance kind of bringing forward things that I hear as a composer, an old composer, the decomposer, so that the person who's just the listener can maybe, you know, there's something that I could bring that maybe you can listen to and enjoy a little more as you enjoy the song that you already love. Blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, that being said, I don't do too much theoretical, but I do want to start from the very beginning of this. And I was completely blown away. I mean, that they started with that soft synth, you know, thing going on in the middle, and it's nice and quiet, and then they just hit you with an obviously a very prog rock, a very current style prog rock arrangement. And as they start to lock you into this rhythm, as the next change comes around, there's this kind of semi-chromatic, which means these small steps in another arrangement going up, because so far it just sounds like it's just going back in between two chords for right now. There is a little turnaround, but you know, as they're getting you involved into this and really pulling you into it, I think it's very Steve Wilson to tell very unique technical stories with his arrangements and compositions. Now, we're not going to talk about the band members because from what I already said earlier, and everybody involved is already at that purple third eye level, I like to say. And but as the track starts moving forward, one of the things that I'm really enjoying is that sizzled Rhodes sound. For those of us who remember, you know, into the 70s, 60s, 70s and stuff, the Rhodes had a 73 keyboard, and they would you'd use stomp pedals to give it effects sometimes. And in this case, there seems to be a really crispy, powerful overdrive. I also wrote a couple notes here. Yeah, no, I got them all in there. So anyhow, I'm just going to keep going. I always go back a little bit and then just kind of trudge forward, and let's see what other magic is coming our way. All right.
Another day on earth has passed me by, but I have lost all faith in what's outside. The only of stars across the sky, and the wreckage of the night. Down on
Okay, so when they get into this kind of, I want to say it's kind of a light funk rock kind of laying down of the groove as Steve is starting to do his vocals and stuff. One of the things that I really kind of locked into was the bass. The way the bass is arranged during a pattern like that can dictate whether or not it's funk or straightforward or pop sounding or anything. So the bass player really gives that, you know, what he's playing, his phrasing is really what's giving it the funk. Now, staying on the bass player, they go into that kind of riffy section. I want to say maybe it's a bridge before, you know, the nice, really beautiful ambient kind of hook. And all of them in unison laying down on that riff really kind of sets you up for this next passage, which I didn't expect first time hearing it, which was that beautiful, wide open ambient hook. And everything dynamically in the mix, engineering, also took you through that journey. So here you have this little funky pocket. He's kind of locking you in there, and you're just getting into it. And he does his vocals, slide effects on the vocals. Then they get you into that riff. It's almost like teeing up the ball on the first hole, you know. And you think you're going to get ready and just club one out there with a hook, and then he hits you with this beautiful, incredibly well-arranged ambient passage. But the bass, I guess I'm singling out the bass because it really stuck. A beautiful, moving slide phrasing that goes on there, which I believe is a really integral part of that section. You got the vocals now happen, something very creative happened with the vocals, beautiful wide guitar sounds and stuff like that. You know, whole note or half note keyboard, or you know, the Rhodes holding this nice warm tone, but the bass is just kind of moving just ever so slightly, just enough to keep that track still kind of keep it lunging forward a little bit. And but also, as far as engineering is concerned, those passages where it's wide open, beautiful, and ambient, a lot of things are happening there. I don't want to go too deep into it because, you know, there are certain things you just don't want to lose the mystique by having too much knowledge, especially if you're just enjoying this as a listener. But if you're enjoying this as a listener, when those beautiful passages come in, it is a sonic experience in the headsets. So kudos, obviously, to the engineer. So let's move forward. And yeah, I think we're getting into the space where Guthrie might be doing that solo. I'm beginning to recognize a little something. So if this is it, we're in for a sick treat. All right, here we go. Oh, it leaves you hanging there. It just leaves you hanging there and want to close that out there, that song. I just, I didn't want to stop because it was anywhere in that last 5 minutes, because that music was a long delivery of, like, from the keyboard solo through to the guitar solo, and the arrangements and the strength and everything and the power of the arrangements and compositions is bring you to this, like, wow moment, and then it brings you down here and it just kind of lets you low. It's like y'all came on and stuff, and and you finally are like, yeah, wow, and it just chills off. All right, so now let me get into a little bit of the solo. Wow, that was probably in a long time one of the most fluid, powerful keyboard solos I've ever heard. Different than the guy who played in Snarky Puppy's the keyboard, Corey, that musician. Completely different kind of solo. This solo speaks to me extremely poignant, because it's just a reminiscence of a style of composition that I grew up with, through the 60s to the 70s, and the kind of production. Whereas, Corey's and Snarky Puppy was very fusion jazz, contemporary push oriented. This is, to me, was purely soulful, driven, powerful playing. And I can't say enough about the phrasing and staying within a scale, within a pocket in the scale, and fluxing in and out of a couple modes there slightly, as that solo was growing. And another thing about keyboard solos, which a lot of people don't know, especially if you're just the listener, is that you'll hear bends and bends and modulations and what seems to be vibratos. And he's on the left hand doing this. You may have seen keyboardists do it. You have to use that sparingly, but when he uses it and he takes it, it reminds me of a saxophone riff, a guitar riff, and everything. It was just absolutely glorious. Now we build ourselves up into Guthrie Govan solo. And through that whole bit, you have these great keyboard, these chords that they're modulating through that keeps taking you on a deeper ride. And it kind of brings you to this, I'm here, and then I'm in a pensive place, and then I celebrate a change, and it's positive, and then brings you through. But as every time this turns around, it brings you up to a new level. Then when you get to Guthrie's solo, I just can't say enough. I mean, people always say to me, hey, listen, why don't you react to, like, the Aristocrats? And I'm like going, what kind of reaction more than, that'd be like saying, hey, listen, Geebz, would you react to when Moses comes down the mountain and tell me what you think about the tablets? What shall I say about God? No, but you know what I'm saying in that kind of statement. The only reaction I could just sit there is just drool and go, I'm going to turn my guitar into a coffee table. I never want to pick it up again after hearing it. But anyhow, this was great for me because, like I said before, I've only heard a little snippet of it because there is that Guthrie Govan snippet of him playing. You watch him play this solo on video, and I made myself familiar with it, but then I never heard the rest of this track. So I'm going to put the link of that solo below, so you got to check that out. If you're still here, you can check that out. I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much for your support, for buying me a cup of coffee. Look, I don't even have my coffee with me. That really means a lot to me, and what I'm doing also helps me out with what I'm doing with the kids as well. And then I'm going to put music of Steve Wilson's below, also his Spotify below, so you can enjoy that as well. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So a big fat aloha, and I will see you guys later. All right, later.